Welcome to Evolutionary Talks by EV Mechanica. Today we have Trivikram Apte, who is the head global sales marketing at Ador Digatron. I welcome you, sir. So,
Thanks, Abdullah.
so starting with the first question, can you just explain me about how this company works, what the company is about, and what's the objective of the company?
So, Ador is a 114-year-old group company, and we are in joint ventureship with Digatron,
Okay.
with headquarters in Germany. Together, we've been in the business of providing solutions for the energy storage sector
Okay.
for a little more than 5 decades now. We started off with supporting customers across the lead battery industry, and then for almost a little more than probably half a decade now, we have been working with customers across the value chain, primarily in the field of research on the next generation and cutting edge technology on alternatives for chemistry, as well as working with the different application segments. So, automotive is one, stationary storage is the other. And then similarly, moving on further, about 3 years ago, we also launched our own DC chargers and AC chargers, which basically now create a complete system, an ecosystem of products ranging from research to industrial equipment, and also lower down, supporting the end user applications with the charging infrastructure.
Okay.
So largely that's where we are.
So at this expo, like what all products have you showcasing, which are from Ador Digital?
So there are three segments, if you have to ask me, in terms of the categorization. There's one segment which is primarily focusing towards helping our customers manufacture cells.
Okay.
We manufacture and supply automation lines for cell assembly, as well as formation and aging solutions. So today, anybody who is working on creating and manufacturing cells of, whether it could be a pouch, it could be a cylindrical, it could be a prismatic, uh, completely chemistry agnostic. We support them with the end-to-end turnkey sort of a solution
Okay.
for cell assembly. So that is one segment, which is upstream.
Okay.
In the midstream, we would look at the different cycling and test bench systems that we offer, again, for cells, modules, as well as packs. And then downstream, we are basically presenting the different AC charging solutions, which are portable solutions, as well as the more higher kilowatt capacity charging equipment, which is primarily useful for, let's say, bus charging or fleet charging operations as well. So that's what we are showcasing over here at the expo.
Can you just tell me a unique feature that is different from other competitors of the company?
So in the cell assembly and the forming, what really defines us is, number one, the overall precision, and number two is the scalability, which is one of the key aspects when it comes to customers today, because customers would be looking at starting at with a proto line, and then sort of moving further into a pilot sort of line project, and then moving that further into a giga scale.
Okay.
And number two is also our experience. We are willing to share that with our customers. Of course, not information about, in terms of what exactly is the overall industry scenario. It could be more in terms of what are the benefits, what exactly would be a product market fit based on the application, and which is probably a better chemistry which is suitable for that particular Indian scenario. Right? So that is something which we, of course, consult, and which we help our customers and support them. Second would be is also manufacturing in India. So we believe in Atmanirbharta, we believe in Make in India, and that's one of the reasons why the company has invested in a local manufacturing unit. We have been present in the Indian market for almost, with a manufacturing presence,
Okay.
for almost a decade now. We started operations back in 2013. So it's been 11 years since we have. And now we are looking at further uh, sort of widening that entire portfolio and sort of looking at localizing also into the aspects of cell assembly and forming.
Okay.
So that's what our goals are. Uh, where exactly we see ourselves as a key differentiator in the charging products is more on lines of, again, uh, the pure appeal of the charger, and also in terms of from a use case scenario, we are able to provide you or provide the customer with information which is a remote diagnostic solution, as well as upgradability. So let's say, for example, you're using, you have at the current moment with the vehicles which are on road, a 60 kilowatt charger is suitable enough based on the grid supply as well as based on the vehicle requirements. That situation or scenario may change for the probably 5 years or 4 years down the line. So we are offering a fully scalable and an upgradable solution where it's very easy to sort of upgrade a charger from a 60 kilowatt to a 120 kilowatt on the field
Okay.
without the need for anyone to send it back to the factory, rework on and rewire.
Okay.
None of that is required. We just do a plug and play with the system, a bit of modifications on the software side of it, but that's it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The company also does an electric vehicle testers. Can you just explain me how the product works? What is it about? And what?
So, so we work with specifically on that front. We work specifically with the OEMs,
Okay.
where you're trying to simulate real life conditions.
Okay.
And now, what this system does is it works both ways. It works either as a battery emulator or it works as a tester,
Okay.
whereby you're able to simulate those conditions and look at how exactly would the battery perform
Okay.
under the different conditions. And that data is then compiled and then analyzed in terms of, and it would help the OEMs in order to build the most reliable and an efficient system across the platform, or even for that matter across this particular electric vehicle platform.
Okay. Coming to the next question, can you tell me about the aftermarket about these products?
So as in, when you say aftermarket, is you're talking more the
Yeah, the services
serviceability.
that the companies provide.
So we have, being having been in India for more than a decade now,
Yeah.
and of course globally for more than 5 decades.
Hmm.
We have a network of service operations
Okay.
which are across India, but also more importantly Southeast Asia, the European continent, as well as Americas. And we also have a remote diagnostic center,
Okay.
which we call as a network operations unit, which is running 24 by 7,
Okay.
whereby we are able to sort of diagnose the health of any of our equipment.
Okay.
And in case of any kind of, any troubleshooting,
Hmm.
we are able to address that remotely.
Okay.
So we create a three-layered sort of service response mechanism,
Okay.
whereby the first would be is over the air, where we try and look at understanding the issue, and we try and resolve that issue remotely.
Okay.
But if not, then usually we try and send in the engineer, who would be a field engineer. And in the worst case scenario, even if not that, then the third would be a subject matter expert who would be flying in from Pune
Okay.
to resolve it.
I mean,
95% of the cases we are able to resolve the issue within the first two tiers. We don't really need to sort of go in with a third. But yes, we do have the mechanisms and the service escalations in place. Um, we at the same time, we just want to assure our customers that we do not look at tapping into the data, because data is important.
yeah.
So information is discussed and only on mutual consent, Do we take access? But primarily, what's important to us is understanding the health of the equipment. So that's the only aspect of it in terms of the equipment. We don't really look at it in terms of the utilization. That's something which we don't really bother or we don't really get into.
Okay. Coming to the last question, like how the company helps in developing the sustainability, how reaching to sustainability development goals, like how the products help in reaching the
So,
sustainability.
so this is a topic which, to be honest, is spoken widely.
Yeah.
Um, I truly believe that it's not a single company which can work towards it. It's got to be the entire ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? And very early on, in fact, I would say from COVID, which is 2020-21,
Right.
uh, we created a podcast channel which was Energizing India.
Okay.
And through this podcast, our primary motive initially was to increase our engagements.
Okay.
And it was started more on an experimental basis. But looking at the success of it, I would say in the last 2 years, it's gained quite a number of impressions and traction within the e-mobility industry as well as the energy storage sector. And today, Ador Digatron believes that it's about making sure that all the stakeholders are on a single platform
Yeah.
and to understand the challenges that currently the industry faces and how we could sort of come together to address those.
Okay.
So, through the podcast and through some of the events that we carry out, both at a leadership level as well as at more of a in terms of an industry associations, we try and look at addressing those challenges, be it at either at a government policy level
Okay.
or it could be more in terms of a tactical, where we work with individual sort of companies or individual sort of sectors, whether it's on the charging front or charging infrastructure front. It could be in terms of financing. It could also mean having the right access to the supply base, because that is something which is going to be critical for a country like India.
Yeah. For sure.
When we are talking about the new PLI as well as when we are talking about the recent sort of changes that are required
Yeah.
to be able to meet the goals of electrification,
Yeah.
it's also to make sure that we have the right supplier base and have access to the right
Yeah.
suppliers. And so that's something which we look at how we can work together as an industry. And of course, support from the government is important,
Yeah.
is
For sure.
required. So we try and put our ideas to the government, to the different ministries, and also to the different think tanks. Uh, and I think the government has been supportive of the electrification. So we hope for the best, and we hope that we are able to meet those goals.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very informative, very informative and very precise question. Thank you for
Thank you.
having this interview. I wish well for the company for you. Thank you so much for having.
Thank you. Thank you so much.